Greetings everyone, my name is JR, and today's video is an unexpected one, but an important one nonetheless. This originally sat in my notes document filled with scrapped video ideas, but after mulling over exactly why I scrapped this video idea, I found myself incapable of attributing any one good reason as to why this video was not to exist. Rest assured, there is definitely an argument to be made that this video I have for you today on the JR Jericho channel does not, in fact, need to exist and should be condemned to the fiery depths of the notes app in my phone, never to see the light of day again. But I found myself lying awake in the night, incapable of drifting off to sleep until the wee hours of the morning, unable to shake the idea of letting such an important video idea be lost to the ether, never to be viewed and enjoyed by many and studied by the scholars at the University of Harvard in order to discover the true meaning of human nature, leaving nothing but questions as to what it means to be alive, why humans, among all other creatures, have been able to attain such a stranglehold on the entire rest of the world above the ocean. And so, I stand before you today, ready to take my stand and participate in the progression of science, psychological and otherwise, so that we as a species can move forward yet farther than we all already collectively have. Rating every Five Nights at Freddy's animatronic by Dateability. With all that being said, it should also be said that this video may potentially have been a little bit inspired by the creations of the wonderful creator known as Bryn Daniel, in particular his invaluable rating videos where he boldly goes where no other creator has and return with their sanity intact, and rates and reviews the many things that others will not, or by metrics that others have not. You're an inspiration to us all, Bryn Daniel. May we all one day achieve but a single iota of your courageous selflessness. While I may not have the silky smooth voice of the man in question, we do share one thing in common: an ability to create and share our findings with an audience who will listen, an audience who understands. One who understands exactly why these videos must be created for the betterment of mankind as a collective. And it is for that audience that I stand here today, rating each and every animatronic from the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise based on the metric of how pleasant or unpleasant sharing a date with them would be. Now, before anyone brings it up, yes, I know the whole thing is that the animatronics are possessed by the ghosts of children, thus making it multiple layers of weird and not okay for you to date them. This is not the thing I am going to be considering and going to be rating the dateability of. If I were to consider the ghosts of children in the rating scale, all of those that are possessed would get an automatic 0 out of 10 and therefore make this otherwise scientific video biased and invalid. So, I will be rating the animatronics in a non-possessed, normal killer robot state. Basically just take the animatronics from the games and remove the possessed by a dead kid angle. Same characters, same robots, less dead kid. I mean, come on, we don't want this video coming off as weird or anything, that would just be unprofessional. Furthermore, I will only be rating the animatronics from the main series of games. If I included side games, FNaF World alone would have made this video approximately 2.5 hours longer. I would also like to add that I am a certified professional and very qualified to make this video. My bisexuality allows me to provide an unbiased rating for each of the animatronics and not let something as menial as gender get in the way of us having a good time. And on top of that, with us talking about killer robots here, I am a certified monster fucker recognized by the University of Oregon. Here's my card. This proves I will not allow frightening appearances and macabre nature to diminish my rating of the character in question. And in some cases, it may even cause me to raise my rating. Now that we got that fluff out of the way, it is time that we move forward to Five Nights at Freddy's with the man himself, Freddy Fazbear. Freddy gives me the impression that he would be a very kind and considerate date, but would potentially wind up overdressed for the occasion. Like, it's okay, Fred, we're at Buffalo Wild Wings, you didn't need to wear the fancy bow tie and hat. But at the same time, it is a nice gesture that he thought he would need to dress to impress on the first date, and I'd be lying if that hat didn't look great on him. Could lead to some awkward looks from the other patrons of Buffalo Wild Wings, however, and if there's one thing that makes me uncomfortable, it's other people I don't know staring at me. 6 out of 10. Bonnie the Bunny. Bonnie, while not being the front man of the Fazbear trio, I find to be just as, if not more, iconic and likable than Fazbear himself. So purely for clout, he's already got a high rating. Then you mix in the fact that he's the bass player for the band, which, as everyone knows, has a +5 to cool factor over the baseline buff you just get for being a guitarist. So out of the gate, this rabbit seems like it'd be one hell of a date, even if just for the story. But at the same time, he does give off a slightly threatening aura, especially with that one hidden screen from the very first game. I mean, look at it. That's spooky. I don't even like looking at it for an extended period of time. The screen apparently even gave Scott Cawthon nightmares, and he's the one who made it. We'll give him a 5 out of 10. Chica the Chicken. I am more than a little partial to birds, so once again, out of the gate, Chica's got some bonus points. There's also the fact that she's the only female member of the band, and once the internet found out, people latched on immediately. But with that in particular in mind, she would likely catch more than a few catcalls from admirers while we're on our date, and then I'd be obligated to swanton bomb the people in question in order to win Chica's affection, and that just seems like an unnecessary risk of getting myself hurt. On top of that, Chica seems like she would want to go out to eat on literally every date. I'm fine with eating out for a date every so often, but do you think we just go to the park and enjoy each other's company once in a while? I mean, come on. 4 out of 10. Foxy the Pirate Fox. Ah yes, the bona fide original animatronic heartthrob. Similar to Chica, Foxy definitely has more than a few people with their eye on him, but I feel that rather than others vying for the affection of my own date, I feel Foxy would end up being more of a trophy I had already won, rather than one I would need to compete for. Imagine walking down the boardwalk holding Foxy's hook with my head held high as others look on in shock knowing I succeeded where they had failed. And the best part is, I would be the lady in the relationship this time, meaning if somebody catcalled me or tried hitting on me, Foxy would be the one defending my honor. And he's a giant killer robot with a hook for a hand. A hook! 8 out of 10. Golden Freddy. Golden Freddy seems like it would be interesting at first, but the magic quickly fades when you consider that he would very likely pollute the experience with his stories of how it was when he was in his prime and how they don't make him like they used to. And I feel like it would just get dry after the second date. 3 out of 10. Toy Freddy. I feel would be pretty similar to the original Freddy, but considerably more, talkative, which could be a good thing for a quiet gal like me since I can just listen to him talk and enjoy my milkshake. But what if I wanted to just take a minute and enjoy his company? Maybe I wanted to share my milkshake and a loving gaze with him, not unlike two teens in the 1950s experiencing young love for the first time. I can't have swaths of wordless affection with such a chatterbox as my date. 4 out of 10. Toy Bonnie. Similarly, I feel Toy Bonnie would be more talkative than the regular Bonnie, but Bonnie always gave me the impression of the strong, silent type. So perhaps here, those two facts would act against each other and result in just the right amount of conversation to result in a pleasant date. He's definitely more of a bottom though, which provides issues for me specifically, but I feel like I could adjust, given time. 6 out of 10. Toy Chica. You thought normal Chica was a hell of a trophy. Toy Chica is on an entirely new level of the bad bitch scale. The amount of catcalls and other such things from wayward admirers would increase tenfold, but on some level, I feel like Toy Chica is worth the extra effort. 7 out of 10. Mangle. Mangle is a special case for me. On one hand, she was my favorite animatronic for a very long time, particularly due to the fact that, out of the toy animatronics, he was definitely the creepiest out of the 4. So purely from a nostalgia perspective, I want to rate her highly. But at the same time, can you imagine how difficult it would be to partake in a simple stroll around the park with a pile of mismatched parts? Plus, the incessant clanking of his bare metal endoskeleton feet would get grating basically immediately. And let's not forget the fact that her voice box just lets out loud, continuous static, occasionally interrupted by a police scanner. How am I supposed to share words of affection when all you can say is... I feel like she would just be too many issues to deal with in order to have a relatively normal date. 2 out of 10. The Puppet. No thank you. 2 out of 10. Balloon Boy. Honestly, I think Mangle's droning static and police chatter would be less annoying than dating Balloon Boy. He's definitely the least attractive character so far, especially when you consider he is a 40-year-old man who still dresses like a stereotypical child with a propeller cap. That's weird, dude. That's too weird. 1 out of 10. Withered Freddy. I feel as though this version of Freddy would definitely be the biggest dom out of the few we've covered so far. Come to think of it, that could probably be said for all of the Withered animatronics. Similar to the first Freddy, the same amount of loving, but much more keen on reminding you who's in charge. I'm into it. 7 out of 10. Withered Bonnie. And I thought the original Bonnie had a threatening aura. Withered Bonnie, I feel he would take the dom thing a bit too far, where it starts seeming less like a consensual relationship dynamic and more just like an abusive relationship. And furthermore, he doesn't have a face. No face mean no lips. No lips mean no kissy kiss. No kissy kiss means no happy me. 1 out of 10. Withered Chica. She seems like she would have a drug problem that she insists isn't all that bad and refuses any help anytime it's offered, even though you've made it clear that you care about her and you just want her to get better. But she just tells you it's fine and she can quit anytime she wants, but you're still worried about her and you're upset that you can't seem to do anything. So you just keep the relationship going in hopes that your companionship will at least keep her from going off the deep end and getting into worse drugs with worse effects and falling deep down into a hole she'll never get out of no matter how hard she tries, because everyone just sees her as this broken, drug-addicted hobo who only begs to further feed their addiction instead of using the money for important things like food and water, until finally she crumbles in an alleyway on a dim rainy day, staring up at the sky, wishing things turned out different, wishing she had gotten help when she still had the chance instead of pushing away the people who cared about her, even though all they wanted to do was help, before slowly closing her eyes, only for them to never open again. Also, exposed wires would make hugging difficult, 1 out of 10. Withered Foxy, fairly similar to regular Foxy, but something about his more rugged appearance makes him considerably more attractive. Like you took Foxy and added stoicism and made him much more dominant, perhaps getting a little bit rougher after the actual date itself has concluded. 9 out of 10. Withered Golden Freddy. If all my time spent in Five Nights at Freddy's 2 has taught me anything, it's that Golden Freddy in this game is much more ethereal, and might even just be a floating bear head missing the rest of its body. Kisses are possible, yes, but the possibilities end there. 2 out of 10. Shadow Freddy. Still got the ethereal thing that Golden Freddy has, but at least he has an ethereal body now. You can at least share a cold, non-corporeal embrace and freak out other people by getting a piggyback ride from a ghost. That'd be fun. 5 out of 10. Shadow Bonnie. Basically the same situation as Shadow Freddy, but somehow less appealing. 4 out of 10. Springtrap. Another quote-unquote animatronic that I was a huge fan of for a long time. However, when I consider that I would be dating the decaying, potentially still alive remains of William Afton, that puts a damper on things. Not a fan of dating a corpse, not corpse. 1 out of 10. The Phantom animatronics, I feel, do not actually fit into this scale at all, as they aren't actual animatronics whatsoever. They are all simply just hallucinations of decayed characters from the second game, which means that they all do not actually exist. Therefore, they all get an automatic 1 out of 10. Because as my therapist has told me on several occasions, no, you cannot date your own hallucinations. Nightmare Freddy will definitely be treading a bit into monster fucker bonus points territory with these characters, and I'm here for it. I feel Nightmare Freddy would be similar to Withered Freddy in demeanor rather than the Freddy from FNaF 1. But given his little group of Freddles now by his side, you also now have the fact that he's a single dad, and you have the unique opportunity of becoming the cute little Nightmare's new stepmom. This could be a plus or a negative depending on who you are as a person, and as someone who wants to be a parent someday, I'm definitely not ready for that kind of commitment yet. Yes, he already has kids, and therefore that cuts out the biological complications of motherhood, but I mean, I'm only 22, Nightmare Freddy. You could double my age and I'd barely only be middle-aged. I'm not capable or prepared enough to be a mother. 4 out of 10. Nightmare Bonnie. Basically take the negatives I gave for Withered Bonnie, double them, and add a face. Moreover, for whatever reason, when I was playing FNaF 4, Bonnie in particular was basically always the one who ended up killing me, regardless of what night it was. 1 out of 10. Nightmare Chica. I would say Nightmare Chica is definitely the least appealing out of the big 4 Nightmare animatronics. I also feel like she would be the kind of person to make a big fuss and get uppity at the waiter if they happen to get her order wrong. And I don't really want to be near the Nightmare Chicken when she gets angry. The evil cupcake is adorable, however. 3 out of 10. Nightmare Foxy. There's plenty of downsides you could bring up when it comes to dating Nightmare Foxy. The aggressive demeanor, the drastically increased amount of sharp, pointy bits, the sheer size of him, his ability to throw you around like a sack of potatoes with a complete lack of regard for your safety, his penchant for biting things. Yeah, no, he's fucking hot. 10 out of 10. Nightmare Fredbear. Another case of Golden Freddy, but this time, it's actually technically still in his prime. Sure, he looks a little bit more pointy than normal, but think about it. You get all of the benefits of dating the Golden Freddy without the rose-tinted glasses of him constantly reminiscing on his past. Easily more positives than negatives here. 6 out of 10. Plush Trap. An evil plushie of the corpse not corpse of William Afton trapped inside a Springlock Bonnie suit. I feel like it would be like dating Chucky from Child's Play. No thank you. Cute though. 2 out of 10. Nightmare. Wow. You really think you're so important and famous that you don't even let people call you by your actual name anymore. You're so cool and well known that you think people just immediately know your face just by hearing the name Nightmare. What a pretentious dickbag this guy is. No fun. Bring back Nightmare Fredbear. 1 out of 10. Jacko Bonnie. Okay, I wasn't particularly fond of Nightmare Bonnie, but Jacko Bonnie is somehow more appealing. He's probably got the same problems with being too aggressive as Nightmare Bonnie, but at least it seems like he's festive and enjoys himself a good Halloween scare. Anyone who loves Halloween that much can't possibly be all that bad. He's not even one of the unfun kind of Halloween lovers who pays way too much attention to real-life serial killers and murderers and prefers to make everyone feel super uncomfortable rather than just scaring them with spooky ghost stories and actually letting everyone enjoy their night. He's probably got hundreds of ghost stories to tell by the campfire all loaded up and ready to go. 6 out of 10. Jacko Chica. It's good to see a woman who enjoys Halloween and doesn't just dress up in a skimpy costume just to get people's heads turning. I always respect girls who appreciate the spooky, scary nature of Halloween more than, getting people to ogle their sexy costume. Good on you, Chica. You go, girl. 6 out of 10. Nightmare Mangle. You'd think I'd be jumping at the opportunity to date Nightmare Mangle, but she runs into the same issues that normal Mangle has. Except this time, he's a lot more sharper and more pokey. So on top of the whole she can't actually talk thing and is just a mess of parts, he's also now a mess of sharp, old parts that are just dying to cut you on accident. I guarantee no matter how careful and sweet she is, he'll inevitably end up nicking you with one of her stray parts, and then that cut's going to get infected immediately. 2 out of 10. Nightmarian. Yeah, still no. 1 out of 10. Nightmare Balloon Boy. Yeah, hard no. 1 out of 10. Circus Baby. Her voice is really nice, but honestly, a nice voice isn't enough for me to look past the whole baby thing. And Jesus, just look at her. I'm sure she's super nice and would probably make a killer potato salad, but I just can't get over the fact that her name is Circus Baby. She'd probably be into the whole daddy-baby girl relationship, and yeah, no, that dynamic will never not be creepy to me. 1 out of 10. Ballora. Refined, elegant, great dancer. She seems like she would be a fun time. On one hand, if you decide to go out dancing, she will definitely show you up on the dance floor. But I'd like to think she wouldn't be elitist about it. I think Ballora would see you're not great dancing and be inclined to help you out. Maybe teach you how to dance in your off time. She seems nice. It'll probably be a fun time. 7 out of 10. Funtime Freddy. I feel like the ventriloquism bit would be entertaining at first, but would definitely get old when he tries to order by speaking through Bon Bonnet rather than just talking to the waiter. But I suppose if the waiter finds it funny and plays along, it could prove to be a fun memory. 6 out of 10. Funtime Foxy. I feel like you wouldn't actually get much quality time with Funtime Foxy. I feel like he would be a considerate lover, but only because you ever really see him once every 2 weeks since he's always out doing shows and whatnot. There's also the possibility that he ends up spending more time worrying about himself than actually making sure that you are enjoying the date. Lots of variables with this guy, and I'm not sure it'd turn out well. 4 out of 10. The Biddy Babs. Ha! No. Wow, no. Absolutely no. No way. 1 out of 10. The Mini Renas. As an accessory to dating Ballora, I feel like they could at least be tolerated. But if you're just dating the Mini Renas themselves, God, that's probably a nightmare. I'm also not one for polygamous or open relationships. I'm a very monogamous person. All I need is one, no more, thank you. 1 out of 10. Ennard. Yeah, gonna be another no from me. I feel like it'd be great at racquetball though. Bon Bonnet and Bonnet. I'm lumping these two together because I feel like it would just be the exact same thing. Super cutesy all the time, never taking anything seriously, always messing with the restaurant staff. They just both seem like a lot. Too much for me to deal with. 1 out of 10. Yendo. I feel like dating an animatronic endoskeleton promotes a lot of needless hazards and risk of injury. There's also no way you could go out on a rainy day, which is a deal breaker for me because that's my preferred kind of day. 2 out of 10. Lolbit. Lolbit seems like they would be a lot of fun. Sort of similar to Bon Bonnet and Bonnet with the whole not taking things seriously thing, but to a more reasonable extent, where they can understand when and when not to joke around. They probably also have 1 or 2 quirky collections of things they find interesting, like misprinted Pokemon cards or molted crab shells that they find on the beach. They could also probably help you out with any computer problems you end up having. I also feel like that they would be excited if I showed them a snail I picked up off the ground, which is a big win for me because I love snails, and I love people who love snails. 10 out of 10. Scrap Baby. Yeah, I already didn't want to date Circus Baby, and her being busted and decayed doesn't change that. Actually, it does. It makes it worse. 1 out of 10. Molten Freddy. A lot more of those exposed wires I brought up, which is dangerous. But at the same time, I feel like it might be a little interesting going to a carnival or a haunted house with this guy. Probably wouldn't want a commitment, but it could be a fun, interesting few dates. 3 out of 10. Scrap Trap. Just because you changed your name doesn't mean I don't recognize you, William. Just accept it. You're squishy and rotting and stinky and gross. I'm not gonna tell this to you again. 1 out of 10. Lefty. He's probably got more than a few good stories from his life. I feel like he'd absolutely wreck it at the ring toss too, even if his depth perception is all out of whack. 6 out of 10. Rockstar Freddy. I imagine this is what happens when Toy Freddy grows up a little more and mellows out. Less chatty, more considerate, but still enjoys talking. Just waits his turn and ends up talking with you instead of at you. 6 out of 10. Rockstar Bonnie. The alternate timeline where Bonnie doubles down on his music career. He's everything good about the original Bonnie, minus the creepy factor, and he's even better at playing the bass. The one downside I could see presenting itself is that he might end up being like Funtime Foxy and putting more focus into his career in entertainment rather than the relationship. Sure, you're dating a successful rock star, but what's that worth if you only ever see him every so often? Rockstar Chica. Really? Maracas? That's the instrument you dedicated your career to? Do you know how many people would love you if you were the awesome drummer girl in the band? Missed opportunity, Chica. 4 out of 10. Rockstar Foxy. Something about Foxy being, you know, properly maintained makes him less appealing. It's like the motorcycle riding, leather jacket wearing bad boy grew up to be a quiet, considerate Mormon who never swears, never gets angry, always turns the other cheek when someone's being a dick to him. Like, he's a nice guy now. He'll definitely take you out to a nice restaurant and not even entertain the idea of splitting the bill, preferring to pay out of his own pocket because that's what the Lord would want. But, like, where'd all the danger go? 2 out of 10. Glitch Trap. I can't help but feel like he'd just be like a Diet Coke version of Lolbit. Like he saw their whole glitchy thing and decided, hey, I can do that, then people will like me. Never pretend to be something you're not, kids. Don't be so obsessed with what people think of you that you're willing to copy someone else just to try to fit in. Then people will just be able to look past the mask and see the squishy, gross corpse not corpse inside. Yeah, I know it's you, Afton. We've been over this. 1 out of 10. Dreadbear. Another fun Halloween lover. Also, a lover of classic gothic horror. Though, the Frankenstein thing doesn't really seem to work as well when it's a robot and not a flesh golem. Still cool though. Less dead body parts involved as well. 4 out of 10. The Plush Babies. Nope. Nightmare Endo. Yeah, still not a fan of the bare endoskeleton thing as far as dating goes. It would basically just be like dating Nightmare Mangle, but with exclusively the risk of injury. No thanks. 1 out of 10. Grimm Foxy. Fuck the day. I am marrying this man on the spot. 11 out of 10. Glamrock Freddy. Come on, everyone knows how great Glamrock Freddy is. He's sweet, considerate, he's got a strong chest and broad shoulders, he's great with kids, you can't go wrong. Out of all the Freddys there are, Glamrock Freddy would easily be the best choice for a serious relationship. 10 out of 10. Glamrock Chica. Glam Chica, on the other hand, I feel like you could do better. Sure, she's got a lot of energy and can absolutely shred the guitar, but you also gotta consider that she definitely has an eating disorder and very likely is not the sharpest light bulb in the drawer. She seems like she would be really high maintenance and not nearly appreciative enough for you to warrant you putting that much effort in. 3 out of 10. Montgomery Gator. Bonnie's replacement. Interesting. Monty definitely has himbo energy, and that paired with his skills on the bass and actually legible Louisiana accent, which can be said for a fair few people from Louisiana, this could actually be an easy win for a lot of people. But for me, I'm not really a fan of himbos, and I can't get over how short a temper he has. So I feel like he's good, but not for me. 5 out of 10. Roxanne Wolf. I'm gonna try my best to be objective here. She's definitely the hottest out of the big four from Security Breach. I mean, who doesn't love a fiery rocker girl? If we're talking about making other people envious, I do not think you could do any better than getting together with Roxy. But there's always the issue of her narcissism, as well as the likelihood of our date being interrupted by people looking for an autograph or a picture. She also has an exceptionally fragile ego that can be shattered simply by an 8-year-old getting away from her one too many times, and you can put together that she's narcissistic because she has a lot of self-image problems, and she uses that to compensate. So she probably has a lot of emotional baggage, which would take quite a toll on you if things got serious enough for her to start confiding in you. Yeah, no, fuck it. I can't be unbiased. I love this stupid robot. No price is too high. I'm putting a ring on it the moment she gives me the chance. Outside of the bit of this entire fucking video, I've legitimately had dreams about Roxy before. You thought that joke at the beginning of episode 4 of my Security Breach playthrough was a joke? Nope. I actually dreamt about Roxy that night. I can't remember what happened in the dream, but it was most definitely sexual. 11 out of 10. The Daycare Attendant. Sunboy is fun, if a bit childish, but regardless of how great Sun ends up being, Moon being the nightmare that he is an immediate deal breaker. 1 out of 10. DJ Music Man. Everybody loves a good DJ, and this guy really knows how to get your feet moving. Even if that method is by chasing you down through a series of tunnels that only he has access to. Also, I don't really want to deal with the lawsuit that will come from him breaking the machine when we play Dance Dance Revolution together. Ugh, talk about high maintenance, am I right? 3 out of 10. The Staff Bots. I mean, these are robots in the most literal and realistic sense of the word. They're just computers programmed to clean or chaperone kids through the building. Do you know how embarrassing it would be for us to be enjoying a date at the local diner only for my date to notice a drop of water on the floor, then spend the next 30 minutes mopping the floor? I can't deal with that. He's not even getting paid. And if I say anything, all I get back is, wet floor, please mind your step. 1 out of 10. Burn Trap.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
I love the young people.
And so, this video essay comes to a close. I will be submitting this to the top researchers at various universities so it may be studied and approved for quality. In the meantime, I hope you all can utilize this invaluable information the next time you're looking to date a totally not possessed by a dead child killer robot. I am unsure if my scientific forays will continue, but now that this particular one is complete, I can rest well knowing I have contributed to the development of mankind. Make sure to take a look at my other videos if you want something other than, science. Also, be sure to subscribe if you haven't, because that's how you get successful on this platform, right? You ask people to click the funny button and the bell. Well, do that. Click the rectangular button and the bell. I also have a Patreon that if you want to subscribe to, you should wait, because I'm working on making big changes to it, and I don't want anyone getting gypped because they didn't know I was going to change. I'll post a video when it's updated, so if you want to support me, wait for that video to come out. My name's JR, and I will see you all in the next one.